What if I told you that deep in West Virginia, there are ancient secrets still standing, still carved in stone, and still hidden under the earth? A giant man-made hill, known as Grave Creek Mound, rises quietly from the ground. But who built it over 2,000 years ago, and why? Along the banks of the Kanawha River, strange petroglyphs remain etched into rock, their meanings lost in time. Were they spiritual symbols, messages, or something more? And beneath the mountains, the dark chambers of Seneca Caverns hold legends of hidden treasures and secret refuge. 3 locations, 3 mysteries, no clear answers. In this series, we step into ancient earthworks, forgotten carvings, and underground legends to uncover what we know and what may never be fully explained. Grave Creek Mound. Who built it? Imagine standing in front of a giant hill that humans built over 2,000 years ago, with no machines, no cranes, no modern tools, just hands, baskets, and raw earth. Why would anyone do that? Who were they honoring? And what secrets are still buried inside? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious ancient sites in America, the massive Grave Creek Mound in West Virginia. This isn't just a hill. It's one of the largest burial mounds in the entire United States, and it has been standing there quietly for over 2,000 years. Let's step back in time. Around 250 to 150 BC, long before cities, long before highways, before the United States even existed, a group of Native American people known today as the Adena culture built this mound. They didn't leave written records, no books, no carved stories explaining their plans, just this giant earth structure rising from the ground, like a silent monument. The mound stands about 62 feet tall. That's about the height of a 6-story building. It stretches around 240 feet across. And remember, this was all built by carrying dirt in baskets. Imagine the effort. Thousands of trips back and forth, layer after layer of soil carefully placed. But here's the mystery. Why? Inside the mound, archaeologists found burial chambers. 2 main tombs were discovered deep within. One was lower, one was higher. This tells us the mound was likely built in stages. First, they buried someone important. Then they added more soil. Later, another burial. More soil, bigger and bigger. The people buried there were not ordinary individuals. They were likely leaders, maybe spiritual guides, maybe powerful chiefs. Maybe someone the community believed had a strong connection to the spirit world. Grave goods were found too. Ornaments, shells, copper items. These objects were not easy to get. Some materials came from far away. That tells us something very important. These people were connected. They traded, they traveled, they had networks across large areas. But we still don't fully understand their beliefs. Was the mound only for burial? Or was it also used for ceremonies? Did people gather around it during special events? Some researchers believe it may have had a spiritual meaning connected to the sky or the seasons. The Adena people often built mounds aligned with natural directions. Was this one placed carefully for a reason? Possibly. And here's something even more interesting. In the 1800s, long before modern archaeology was careful and scientific, treasure hunters tunneled into the mound. They weren't thinking about history, they were thinking about gold. In 1838, local landowners dug directly into the center. They found the burial vaults, but they also damaged parts of the structure. That early digging created another mystery. Some artifacts were poorly recorded, some may have been lost. Stories grew, rumors spread. There were even claims of strange inscribed stones found inside, with symbols that didn't match known Native American writing. Some people believed it proved contact with ancient civilizations from across the ocean. But many experts later believed those stones were likely fake or misunderstood. Still, the mystery stuck. When you stand near the mound today, it feels heavy with history. It rises suddenly from the flat land around it. Quiet, solid, watching. You have to ask yourself, how did they organize such a massive project without modern systems? Who planned it? Was there one leader who ordered it built? Or was it a community effort over generations? Building something that large means strong leadership and strong belief. People had to believe it mattered. They had to believe the person inside deserved this enormous tribute. Another question: how many more burials might still be inside? Not all parts have been fully explored. Archaeologists today are more careful. They don't want to destroy what they study. So some secrets may still remain underground. Now let's talk about the conditions of the site today, both good and bad. On the positive side, the mound is protected. It is part of the Grave Creek Archaeological Complex. There is a museum nearby. Visitors can learn about the Adena culture. The site is monitored. It's not just sitting unprotected in the wild. That's a big positive. Many ancient sites across the world were destroyed by farming, construction, or neglect. This one survived. It's also easy to access. People can visit, walk around, and see it up close. Education is happening. That's important. When people understand history, they value it more. But there are negatives too. Time is always a threat. Rain slowly erodes Earth structures. Wind chips away at the surface. Even footsteps can cause damage over years. The mound has needed repairs in the past. Keeping a 2,000-year-old pile of earth stable is not simple. There's also the problem of old damage. The early tunnels dug in the 1800s changed the inside forever. We can never go back and see it exactly as it was. Some context was lost. And in archaeology, context is everything. Another issue is that many people still don't fully respect Native American history. For years, mounds across the US were flattened for farmland. Others were looted. Grave Creek survived, but it stands as a reminder of how much was lost elsewhere. There is also debate about interpretation. Some older theories exaggerated strange ideas, lost tribes, foreign visitors, mysterious outsiders. Today, most experts agree the mound was built by the Adena people, ancestors of Native Americans in the region. But myths still float around online. That sometimes distracts from the real story, which is already powerful enough. And let's be honest, for some visitors, it just looks like a big hill. Without knowing the story, it's easy to miss how incredible it truly is. That's both sad and fascinating. A 2,000-year-old human creation hiding in plain sight. When I think about Grave Creek Mound, what amazes me most is the human effort. No machines, no steel tools, just belief and cooperation. We often think ancient people were simple, but projects like this prove they were organized and intelligent. They understood engineering in their own way. They knew how to shape land. They created something that has survived thousands of winters. The mystery isn't about aliens. It isn't about fantasy civilizations. The real mystery is human motivation. What makes a community spend years building a monument for the dead? What did they believe happens after life? What stories did they tell around fires while the mound slowly grew taller? Those stories are gone. The voices are silent. But the mound remains. Today, the area around it includes a museum and educational center. School groups visit. Researchers continue to study artifacts. The mound is carefully maintained, with grass covering its surface to prevent erosion. It stands in Moundsville, not far from roads and modern buildings. Cars pass by. Life moves on. But that giant earth structure still holds its ground. In my opinion, Grave Creek Mound is one of the most underrated ancient sites in America. It may not look dramatic like stone pyramids. It's not flashy, but its age and size make it incredible. It shows that complex societies existed in North America long before European arrival. At the same time, I feel a little sadness. We lost part of its story due to early digging and poor protection in the past. We can study it, but we will never know everything. Some secrets are buried forever, and maybe that's what makes it powerful. Right now, the site is stable and protected, but always vulnerable to natural erosion and the limits of funding for preservation. It is open to visitors, supported by a museum, and recognized as an important archaeological landmark. The present situation is a mix of care and caution. Safe for now, respected more than before, yet still carrying unanswered questions beneath its surface. And that giant mound continues to stand there, silent, ancient, and watching. Mysterious petroglyphs of the Kanawha Valley. Imagine walking through a quiet forest in the hills of West Virginia, hearing nothing but wind in the trees, and then you look down at a rock. Carved into its surface are strange symbols, lines, circles, human shapes, animal forms, marks that were made hundreds, maybe even thousands of years ago. Who carved them? Why were they placed there? And what were they trying to say? Today, we're diving into the mysterious petroglyphs of the Kanawha Valley, especially near the Kanawha River, one of the most puzzling ancient stories in the Appalachian region. Long before roads and bridges crossed this valley, Native American groups lived, traveled, hunted, and held ceremonies here. The river was life. It provided water, food, and a travel route. And along its banks, on large flat stones and cliff faces, someone carved symbols that still remain. These are not random scratches. They are intentional, careful, repeated patterns. Some carvings show human-like figures with wide arms. Some show animals. Others are geometric shapes, circles inside circles, spirals, straight lines crossing each other. A few look almost like maps. Others look spiritual. The big question is simple. What do they mean? No written explanation was left behind. The people who carved them did not leave a dictionary. So today, we are left trying to understand images without words. Some researchers believe the carvings were spiritual symbols. The Kanawha Valley was likely a gathering place for different tribes over time. The carvings may have marked sacred spaces. Maybe ceremonies were held near the river. Maybe certain rocks were believed to hold power. Others believe some symbols could represent star patterns. When you look at certain circular carvings, you can't help but wonder if they were observing the sky. Ancient people watched the stars closely. They tracked seasons. They needed to know when to plant and when to hunt. Could some of these shapes be early sky maps? Then there are the animal carvings. Animals were important in native culture, not just as food, but as spiritual guides. If a deer or bird was carved into stone, was it a clan symbol, a story marker, a memory of a hunt? Another mystery is time. Exactly how old are these petroglyphs? Some experts believe they could date back over 1,000 years. Others suggest certain carvings may be even older. But dating rock carvings is difficult. Unlike bones or wood, stone does not easily reveal its age. Researchers must study the style, weathering, and nearby artifacts to estimate when they were made. And here's something interesting. The carvings may not all be from the same time period. Different groups may have added their own marks over generations. Imagine a rock face slowly filling up with symbols over centuries. A message board across time, but there's also confusion. Some carvings may have been altered. Over the years, settlers moved into the region. Curiosity grew. Some people may have traced other old carvings, making them deeper. Others may have added their own marks, thinking they were copying ancient art. This makes it harder to tell what is truly ancient and what might be newer. That brings us to one of the most talked about sites, the petroglyphs, once visible at places like the Campbell's Creek area, near the Kanawha River. Early reports described many carvings clearly visible on large rocks along the water. But today, some of those original rocks are damaged, moved, or even lost. And that leads to one of the biggest negatives about the current condition. Natural erosion is a major problem. The Kanawha River floods, water levels rise and fall. Over hundreds of years, flowing water slowly wears away the stone surface. Fine details fade, lines become shallow. Some carvings that were once clear are now barely visible. Industrial activity also affected the region. Coal mining, construction, and river development changed parts of the valley. Some rocks were blasted or relocated, not always with bad intention. Sometimes simply because people didn't realize their importance at the time. On the positive side, awareness has grown. Local historians and archaeologists have documented many of the carvings. Photographs, drawings, and 3D scans have helped preserve their shapes digitally. Even if erosion continues, we now have records. That is a huge step forward compared to the past. Some petroglyph locations are protected, though not all are publicly marked. And that is partly for safety. When sites become too famous, vandalism becomes a risk. Sadly, some carvings have been scratched, painted over, or damaged by visitors who didn't understand their value. That's one of the most frustrating parts of this mystery. These carvings survived hundreds of years of weather, but sometimes modern hands cause the worst damage in minutes. Another mystery is cultural connection. Which tribe carved them? The Kanawha Valley was home to different native groups over time. The Adena, Hopewell-related peoples, and later tribes moved through this area. Without written records, connecting a specific carving to a specific tribe is not simple, and that opens the door to speculation. Some fringe theories claim the carvings show contact with ancient Europeans or other distant civilizations. They point to certain shapes and say they look similar to symbols from faraway lands. But most mainstream researchers believe the carvings are fully Native American in origin. Similar symbols appear in other parts of the eastern United States. Still, the mystery remains because we cannot ask the original artists. When I think about these petroglyphs, I imagine someone kneeling by the river thousands of years ago, holding a stone tool, carefully tapping and carving into rock. It wasn't quick work. It took time, effort, intention. You don't carve into solid rock unless it matters. Maybe it marked a gathering place. Maybe it told a story only their community understood. Maybe it honored spirits of the land and water. The Kanawha River would have been powerful, sometimes dangerous. Carving near it could have been a way to show respect. Today, if you visit parts of the Kanawha Valley, you won't see giant signs pointing to these carvings. Some are hidden. Some are faint. Some are already gone. That's both positive and negative. It protects them from crowds, but it also means many people don't even know they exist. The present condition of the petroglyph sites is mixed. Some carvings are preserved in museums after being removed for protection. Others remain outdoors, slowly fading. Erosion continues. Flooding continues. Human impact continues. But documentation efforts are stronger than ever. In my opinion, The mystery of the Kanawha, in my opinion, the mystery of the Kanawha Valley petroglyphs is powerful because it feels personal. These are not giant monuments like mounds. They are small, quiet marks left by individuals. And somehow, it lasted for centuries. Even if we never fully decode the symbols, they remind us that ancient people here had rich spiritual lives and deep connections to the land. Right now, the sites are partly protected, partly vulnerable. Some carvings are secure in collections, while others are still exposed to weather and time. Preservation efforts are improving, but erosion and past damage cannot be reversed. And along the Kanawha River, if you look closely enough, the stones are still whispering, carrying messages from a world we are still trying to understand. Seneca Caverns legends. Imagine standing at the mouth of a dark cave in the hills of West Virginia. Cold air rushes out from inside. The temperature drops instantly. You shine a light into the darkness, but it seems to swallow the beam. How deep does it go? Who walked in there before you? And what stories are still hiding under the ground? Today, we're stepping into the legends of Seneca Caverns, one of the most mysterious underground places in the Appalachian region. Seneca Caverns isn't just a cave. It's a place filled with stories passed down for generations. Some are based on history, others are pure legend. And when you walk inside, it's easy to understand why people imagined secrets hidden in the dark. The caverns were formed millions of years ago by water slowly dissolving limestone rock, drop by drop, year after year. Nature carved winding passageways deep into the earth. Today, visitors can walk about 165 feet below the surface on guided tours. The walls are covered with strange formations, stalactites hanging from the ceiling, stalagmites rising from the ground. Some look like frozen waterfalls. Others look like faces or creatures, if your imagination runs wild. And that imagination is where the legends begin. One of the oldest stories says that Native American tribes, including the Seneca people, used these caverns for shelter. Some believe they hid inside during conflicts. The idea makes sense. A deep cave would be a strong hiding place. Cool in summer. Protected from storms. Hard to find if you didn't know the entrance. But here's the mystery. There is no clear proof of long-term living inside the caverns. Archaeologists have not found strong evidence of large settlements underground. So were they used only briefly, only in emergencies, or are we still missing pieces of the story? Another legend says there is hidden treasure somewhere deep inside. Over the years, rumors spread about gold, silver, or valuable items hidden in secret chambers beyond the public toolpath. Some versions of the story claim early settlers hid valuables there during dangerous times. Others say native tribes stored sacred objects deep inside where no outsider could find them. But here's the truth. Much of the cave beyond the tour areas has been explored. No confirmed treasure has ever been found. Still, the idea refuses to die. There's something about caves that makes people believe secrets are buried inside. Then there are the hidden passage stories. Some locals once believed the caverns connect to other caves miles away. Some said secret tunnels stretch under the mountains, forming a giant underground network. While the cave system is large, there is no solid evidence of massive hidden tunnel systems reaching far beyond the known areas. But because caves twist and turn in unpredictable ways, it's easy for these ideas to grow. Let's talk about something else that adds to the mystery: sound. Inside Seneca Caverns, sounds echo in strange ways. A small whisper can bounce off the walls. Water droplets fall constantly. In near darkness, those small sounds feel bigger than they are. Imagine being there centuries ago, with only torchlight. Every sound would feel alive. Every shadow would move. It's easy to understand how legends of spirits or hidden presences could form. Some visitors have even claimed to feel sudden cold spots or unexplained sensations. But scientifically, caves naturally have temperature differences and air currents. When outside air meets the cooler inside air, it creates movement. That doesn't stop the stories, though. Now let's look at the present conditions, both positive and negative. On the positive side, Seneca Caverns is well maintained. It is a managed tourist site. Guided tours operate regularly. Walkways and lighting have been added to protect both visitors and the cave itself. This means the caverns are not abandoned or forgotten. They are monitored and cared for. The stable cave temperature, around 54 degrees Fahrenheit year-round, helps preserve formations. Unlike outdoor sites exposed to rain and wind, these formations are somewhat protected by being underground. But there are negatives too. Tourism always brings impact. Even careful visitors change cave environments. Body heat, light, and small touches can slowly affect delicate formations. Oils from human hands can stop stalactites from growing. That's why touching is usually not that earlier generations did not always follow strict preservation rules. Before modern conservation awareness, some cave formations were broken off as souvenirs. That damage can never be undone. Water flow changes are another concern. Caves depend on natural water movement to maintain their formations. Changes in land use above ground, construction, road work, or environmental shifts can affect how water enters the cave system. If water flow decreases or becomes polluted, it can harm the cave's delicate balance. There's also the challenge of legend versus fact. Some visitors come expecting dramatic hidden secrets or supernatural experiences. When they don't find treasure or secret tunnels, they feel disappointed. But in reality, the true story of natural formation over millions of years and human imagination shaping legends is just as powerful. Personally, I think the mystery of Seneca Caverns is less about treasure and more about human fear and curiosity. Darkness has always triggered stories. When people don't fully understand a place, they fill the gaps with imagination. And that's not a bad thing. Legends give a place personality. They keep it alive in conversation. They make people ask questions. Right now, Seneca Caverns is open to the public. Tours continue. The pathways are stable. The lighting system allows visitors to safely explore the main chambers. The site is in good condition overall. It is protected, supervised, and respected more than in the past. At the same time, it faces the ongoing risks of tourism impact, environmental change, and the slow natural aging of formations. In my opinion, Seneca Caverns represents a balance between nature and story. The physical cave is real, solid, ancient. The treasure tales and secret tunnel stories may not have proof, but they show how deeply humans connect mystery with darkness. When you stand inside those caverns today, you feel small. The rock around you formed long before humans existed. Generations have walked through those chambers. Native tribes, early settlers, curious explorers, modern tourists. And even now, as lights glow softly on stone walls, there's still a sense that the cave is holding something back. Not treasure, not monsters, but history that we can only partly understand. That's what makes it powerful. Today, the caverns remain active as a tourist attraction, structurally stable, carefully managed, but always sensitive to human impact and environmental changes. The legends continue to attract visitors, and the mystery still lives in the shadows beneath the mountains of West Virginia.